Late nights, relaxed schedules, and lots of playtime is the perfect formula for summer, but kids often pay the price when they head back to school, especially those first couple of weeks. So as summer winds down, we're helping you set your kids up for a successful school year. Educational consultant Michelle Loveday is here to share a helpful back-to-school checklist for an easier transition. We're both just looking at each other and saying, how are we here?
It went so fast. I was just here talking about the summer slide, and we slid.
We're sliding. I'm clinging and crying is what I'm doing. Like, hang on to summer. Before we jump in, Michelle, you always bring such sound advice, and parents, I know, so appreciate that connection, right, from child to school. Kids at different grade levels and in different districts are going to have their different set of specific needs.
Yes, that's exactly it.
We're going to go general today with our advice, but it will apply, I think, to most families.
And you can find things when you're looking through what to expect for the year. What is my student going to be learning? What's expected to be on the list of learning? And that's usually through the Utah State Board of Education. They have standards, or you can go to uen.org, and then that lists out what third graders are going to be learning, what 12th graders in science are going to be learning. And it kind of gives you a heads up to different areas that you can just talk to your students about, your kids about, and say, hey, you're going to be learning all these things. So uen.org has standards of curriculum for each grade level, including driver's ed.
Oh, well, hello. we all could use a brush up on that. But I'm grateful for that website source simply because I'd like to help my third grader get excited, right, about what's coming and to hype it up in a positive way.
Exactly.
Registration is happening now, and you say that should be at the top of parents' checklist.
The top of the list. Check your email. You've probably been out of the habit of checking your email, and that inbox is filled. So in your inbox is the welcome back registration information for your school. Depending on the district, you'll have to go into that website, and you have to re-register your student every year. It's great, they're going to be there, but year to year, the school needs to know that they're coming back. And so you can't just kind of show up on that first day of school because they won't get their class list. They won't have their assigned teacher. And so you want to respond, make sure emergency contacts are updated in that information, and really make sure it's helpful, especially if you're going to be homeschooling. There's an affidavit that you have to fill out to let that boundary school know that you're not going to be having your student at that school. You can go to USBE's site, and I found the funnest homeschool mom, Homeschool of Rock. She gives out all the types of information on what to homeschool, places to go for your kids, and how to fill out that affidavit.
Nice.
So, yeah.
All right, thank you for those sources. A lot of back to school nights are on the calendar. They're coming up.
Happening.
What's your take on back to school night?
They're necessary.
Worth it?
It's worth it. Even if you've been there since kindergarten and your kid's going to 6th grade. Mine is on the calendar for August 12th. I want to be able to meet the teacher. It's a more flexible, relaxed time. You can walk around this classroom and see what teachers are looking for and needing. You can meet the teacher and give them a heads up and say, hey, my child has a 504. Or hey, my child gets really anxious right before assemblies. Can you send me an email? Those kind of special accommodations that you and your child need to have a successful year, those are the conversations and the time to get to know the teacher and really set yourself up to have a good perception of teachers so that teacher-parent relationship can start off on a good kick.
I was chatting with a girlfriend who is an educator, and she said, I so appreciate when that information is delivered in person as opposed to over an email. It lands differently. There's a different investment. She's able to ask questions.
The face and the connection is just that much more important when you're establishing relationships. And this is your baby.
Right.
So you really want to kind of go over, wait, whisper, and let them see who you're working with there for the year.
I've got a first grader this year too, which is the worst heartbreak. When they
my
go all day,
so
you say
cute.
baby, and I'm already starting to weep because he is.
He's going to learn to read so well. Like January is going to click, and you're going to be like, my baby's reading.
I know. You mentioned stocking up on teacher supplies. You say in lieu of like a teacher gift, which is a nice gesture, you might consider asking what classroom needs are available.
And most of them are putting those needs out when they send that back to school email. So just kind of wait around. Don't try to buy and think you know what the teacher needs. They'll send an email out of requested needs. And also Amazon.com, they have a teacher wish list
I didn't know that.
through the Utah PTA. And so teachers are putting their wish lists up there.
Fantastic.
And you can go on through Amazon and it can ship right to that teacher, kind of like a wedding registry, but it's a teacher registry.
I love when we can celebrate technology and it does us a good.
You don't even have to carry it to school. Can you imagine the big
The
bin?
best. All right, you've got to a timeline for us now, which I really appreciate. Here we are about 2 weeks out, roughly, for most districts in the state anyway, and you say that bedtime routine needs a slight tweak.
Oh my goodness, I'm all for practice makes perfect here, right? And it's not going to be perfect, but practice is so essential for the sleep because we've been staying up, we've been sleeping in.
I say little tweak. We need an overhaul at my house.
And here's one thing I did. We have I remember how I talked about the summer slide and neighbors helping each other out. We have a neighbor that's doing basketball for our kids in his house and basketball, you know. And so I signed my daughter up for the early slot tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. So it'll get her up, it'll get her tired and going. So just find something that can get the kids out and up at the house so that they can start going to bed at a decent hour.
Here's a calendar note that I actually hadn't thought of, but I can see the wisdom. About 10 days before, you're encouraging parents to dial back the screen time.
Yeah, we've given it a little bit more ample things, which is fine here and there, but that ample screen time, experts have shown that an hour before bedtime is when we shouldn't be on our screens, right? That blue light and all the sensors that are going through their mind so they can wind down. So that screen time, maybe you need to say, okay, 7 o'clock, we're gonna do a game. We're gonna go find neighbors and play hide and seek. We're gonna do some night games, you know, and cut and take away the devices and take them out of your child's room so that they're not tempted to check the alerts and messages and text messages from their friends. Send that final message at 7 to friends, I'll see you tomorrow, I have to go, and put it in your room so that they can start to wind down and you can start that early bedtime.
And a week before, we're stocking the backpack.
Oh my gosh, get your backpack now. If you don't go, if you are able to get to a store and get your backpack.
My sister was in that trap last year. She's like, never again, backpacks in July.
The night before school, the stores are just, take pictures of how fun. Everybody's just standing there and trying to pick, do you want blue or pink?
Yeah.
Get your backpack now for your kiddos. And there's so many back to school communities that are giving away backpacks and churches that are donating them. So get your backpack now. And also if you're gonna use the same backpack, check the lunch, because what was left in there in June, it might still be there.
Oh boy, I don't even want to know. I think we cleaned out. I hope we did, because if not, we've got some
it's
question marks.
A little stank.
Michelle, we do appreciate your advice. Where can we see more of what you're doing and how you're contributing?
I love when I have new followers on Instagram at mloveday consulting on Instagram, and then I have a website, lovedayeducationalconsulting.com.
All right, thanks for keeping us on track. Checking the backpack. Checking the backpack.